Hey everyone, welcome to the Build Insight podcast. We are live from the Adelaide studio today. My mate Dino joins me alongside here. He's flown over from Victoria for the day. Big shout out quickly before we get too far as well. We've got Mick from U2U Productions behind the camera and the microphones over there being the producer for the day. So thanks Mick for coming over. And so we'll get first our guests we've got in off the ranks today. We've got Luke from Adelaide Plastering Solutions. Luke, I have had the pleasure of knowing for the last little while and is actually one of my contractors for my building company, does a lot of our rendering and solid plastering, and it's been awesome to learn a little bit about Luke's journey, and I couldn't miss the opportunity to get him in and talk about the business experience, development and journey of an individual trade. Normally we get builders on to chat about this sort of stuff, but I reckon today's perspective from a trade is going to be something unique. So Lukey, welcome to the Build Insight podcast.
No, thanks Luke and Dean. Thanks for having us on. It's been a pleasure.
It's been nice having a chat just off air, Luke. I haven't actually met you or got to know much about you beforehand, mate. But I've got to ask firstly, mate, what's it like now that you're working for the Young Builder of the Year for South Australia? Like, does he actually answer his phone or is he too busy?
I'm very humbled to be in this room right now. Nah, it's good. He's an absolute belter to work for. The work's amazing, and probably just the transparency and being able to talk and being open with him on the projects is just a dream, and all my workers love working alongside him and the boys.
That's awesome, mate. So when we say like take it back, up to you how far you want to take it back, but you've been having a chat off air about your journey. You're a pretty passionate tradesperson in general, not just for plastering, mate. So as far back as you want to go, mate, let us know your journey.
Well, I was actually I started off as an apprentice for a company called Adelaide to Victor Harbour back in the day, early 2010s. And I had no idea what solid plastering was. My mum said there was an ad in the Victor Harbour Times, solid plastering, and I was over in Croatia visiting my family, and I said, solid plastering, what the bloody hell is that? Anyway, I ran the gauntlet and went back to Adelaide and jumped into this trade I had no idea about. And just absolutely fell in love with it straight away. It was just creative. It was open-ended, like there's just so many avenues in solid plastering that it takes you.
So Lukey, was this straight out of school? You do a bit of a gap year holiday over to Croatia, or straight out of school into plastering?
Yeah, straight out of school. Sort of didn't know what I wanted to do in life. Had the opportunity to visit my family in Croatia, so sort of did that. I guess you could say a gap year. That was good. Bit of a restart. Was always hands-on, so it was really good on the tools. But yeah, so I jumped in the deep end with solid plastering and completed the apprenticeship, and then had a bit of a break and got offered a job over in WA in oil and gas. So I sort of stuck with that for about 8 years or so. It was sort of the wear and tear of being an apprentice and not making a lot of money, and you can see people who ran the gauntlet and jumped into the mines or oil and gas and sort of set themselves up, and I wanted to get ahead quick, and it did, but I still had that passion for rendering and solid plastering, with the idea that later on in life I would jump back into that and set up the business.
Okay, so you always had that idea though it was only going to be temporary, you were coming back to plastering?
100%, yeah. It's not a job that you're going to do forever. It does take its toll away from family, friends. And it wasn't until I met my now wife that, sort of, it was an option. If you want to have a family, you're going to have to spend some more time at home. And that was the driving point of me, biting that bullet and saying, all right, no more oil and gas, jump straight into setting up the business. So at that point in time, just bought a house, had no money.
Yeah, good.
And just bit the bullet. I jumped on that phone and called around Adelaide. It wasn't a matter of just calling 3 or 4 people. It was a matter of calling 100, and out of that 100, I might have got 10 replies, and out of that 10 replies, I might have got 5 people wanting some work, big or small, you know.
Yep.
For over 130 years, Bowens has been the builder's choice, providing a service that provides timber, hardware and innovative building products.
And now we're helping you further with this wonderful partnership.
We're proud to announce Bowens as our new premier sponsor, bringing you more of the insights that you love. Build insight together with Bowens.
Real people,
Real insights.
Yeah, Rome wasn't built in a day, mate. It's always ongoing.
Nah.
So just to go back there, Luke. So when you're doing the work over with the fuel and oil, was that more that couple of weeks on, week off sort of setup where you're travelling, or were you based over there for a while?
It was mainly a lot of shutdown, on and off shutdown to like rostered work, 2 and 2, might be 3 and 1.
So there wasn't even any consistency in it. It was kind of all over the place.
You were just on call pretty much.
Wow.
Yeah, sometimes I would work 11 months of the year and lucky to get 4 weeks off. So,
wow.
Yeah, that
I understand
was
why the missus wanted you to get your ass back home.
Yeah, 100%. That especially when we bought a dog, and I went to Papua New Guinea for 3 months, and she was stuck in Melbourne looking after this dog. But yeah, no, that was good. I did have a period when I was in Melbourne, and that's when I started looking into sustainable building and hempcrete, and there was actually a course I saw. Joe Diallo from the Hemp Building Company over in Kyneton, Victoria. He ran a hemp building course, and I went over to Kyneton to learn and experience about hemp building. In doing so, me and Joe just had an instant attraction with each other, and at the end of the day, he was meant to have a renderer come in and do a demo on a hemp wall. Anyway, the renderer didn't rock up, and I was asked to do the demo over the hemp on the day.
Never done it before?
Never done it before.
Yeah, good.
So it was good. And that's what really motivated me and inspired me to really dive back into what I love doing, which is construction itself, rendering, and the sustainable side of building as well.
Yeah, so I think that's important to dive into that, Lukey, because there's probably a perception when someone says you're a plasterer that you're just throwing gyprock up on the walls and plaster sheets. I know there's different terms in different states.
Slinging
We get
around a bit of
those
mud.
phone calls, and I'll have to say, sorry, mate, we're solid plasterers.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, that's important.
Even off the back of that, you're just a mudslinger or something like that.
Yeah, mudslinger,
Yeah.
you're wet trade, you're messy, you're dirty.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stereotype of the renderers out there. I guess a lot of people have seen those reels on Instagram.
Yeah, well, mate, it's probably a testament too, because you're sitting here with clean boots, clean pants, seeing a lot of renderers and solid
Not a
plasterers.
sprig of render on him.
Yeah, that's it. No, I think that there's a whole skill set there, and you're obviously working with a whole lot of different base materials as well, and that's probably something, Luke, you can jump into with a product you guys have just teamed up to work with recently. Project.
Yeah. Anyone that's may have followed some of our stuff that we've got on social media, one of our projects, we had a new product over here called Bass Rock, which is the rock wall insulation with reinforced fiberglass mesh over it. Luke jumped right in the deep end with his team, and we sort of learnt how to use this new product. They had their own rendering system for it, which was nice the way that it kind of happened. It was obviously a lot more work than we both ever intended it was, or thought it was going to be, which is, you always got to learn with a new product. But I guess what came out of it was nice. At one point actually had a Unitex rep and the Bass Rock guy actually came out to site, and we're quite open to listening to your guys on site, actually a bit of feedback about how the product was and what could they improve. So I don't know whether you want to tell us a little bit about your experience with something like that, Luke.
Yeah, well, that project in particular, the feedback we got from Shane, the Unitex rep, and the Bass Rock rep that came over, they said that we've gone above and beyond. Obviously, the spec on that Bass Rock system, rendering system, was a simple, mesh, two coat, texture coat. But obviously, in doing that, we found a problem with the gauge on the beads that they have, which is too thick for.
Just two thin coats.
Yeah, too thin coats. So, it was raised to my attention, and Marco said, we're going to have to put extra material on this wall to get that right. Otherwise, the side light will, show, and it will be, it's crucial. So, we were transparent with Luke in doing that, and the end product just speaks for itself.
Yeah.
It's flawless. So
I reckon, unfortunately, I was, I reckon the day that the guy came out, I reckon it was our last recording day. I think I was actually driving to Melbourne to come over to the last circuit day. So I unfortunately missed out on the day there, but I know Nath, my supervisor, the feedback that he said when they first come in, they looked at the walls and they went, Jesus, these look a hell of a lot better than the walls in Melbourne, because everyone's kind of, what everyone's like. They might read, the install guide, and they've done the bare minimum. They did, this is telling me I need to do 2 skim coats and then we get onto the top coat. That's all they did. So technically they did the right thing by the instructions, but it let itself down because, like you guys found out, the gauge on those beads was huge, and having to put a big straightedge across it and get it nice and flat. Definitely, the result speaks for itself. It was an incredible finish, but it's a hell of a learning experience, isn't it?
yeah, it was. Like, the material itself was user friendly. It was great stuff to use. But yeah, there's just a few bits there that need fine tuning. Like, speaking to Shane, like, we could potentially use those aluminium mesh beads with a smaller gauge on them.
Yep.
Which would prevent having to use excess material on them.
Yep.
But yeah, overall, it was, great product to use.
Dino, so I rocked up to site last week, got scratch bench tops, paint all over the windows.
Let me guess, Lukey. No goop?
No goop. And now we're spending big bucks trying to fix it.
Mate, Goop Guys roll on a thick, peelable, protective coating that saves your surfaces.
And your budget.
And your sanity, Lukey.
Seriously, check them out. goopguys.com.au. Protect your job from the start.
Luke, how do you find, obviously, being a contractor working, you've got a business, you've got staff dealing with different products, you're working for different builders, maybe some private jobs. How do you find in all the communication aspect of being a contractor, coming to different job sites? So what's some of the positives and, I suppose, frustrations that you take away?
As in, like,
I suppose
initial
enabling you to do your job efficiently and run your business.
It's communication is absolutely key. Like, just that initial, always learning, and every client's different. Like, in their, what would you say, like, communication personality, or you got to adjust to them. But yeah, I think just being key is at the start, just running through the job and absolutely, like, dialing in together, and for having that main goal at the end of the job. So it all happens at the start of the job.
Yep.
Yeah, well, the hard work's done at the start of the job, really.
Yeah. And I mean, documentation for you, you're doing sort of samples on some of the feature work, and, no different that you've just done with Luke with your Bass Rock job.
Yeah.
So, there's a fair bit of time that you spend there.
100%. So, like, anything in particular, even texture samples, like, it can be as simple, but just carrying, your suppliers' texture samples on you, you know what I mean? And rather than just going with what's what, and then putting it onto someone's wall that they're going to have for the rest of their life, give them that option, and just building that trust with your client at the start is key.
Definitely.
Can we get a bit of context on your team, Lukey? Obviously, I'd use you, so I know how big the team is or whatever, but where, I guess, from the journey on, you started out on your own, was it just you to start with, doing as much as you could on your own? How did the team grow, and sort of what's the size of it look like now? Because obviously, I've seen from time to time you're on the tools a little bit with some of the more, what do we call it, the more sort of unique renders and the micro cement sort of stuff, but you're predominantly just focused on growing the business now.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, every business owner knows about the roller coaster and starting off, and that's why they have a lot of coaches now, for these people, because we're all tradesmen. We don't get taught to be businessmen.
Owners. Yep.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So that's the transition. And a lot of these coaches, can, go big, go quick. You got to reach this revenue. But if I could take my time back again, it would be to focus on what I've got now, not in the future. So like the tiny things there. So went from, it was just myself, on and off labourers, but what ended up happening, all those phone calls that I mentioned earlier about reaching out to builders across Adelaide, and then I started getting a massive influx of work, and then it got too much for just me, and then next thing you know, I was
You're growing too quick.
growing, and I'm like, oh wow, I need a tradesman. Okay, and then it just ballooned. And one piece of advice out there is just to really know your numbers before going into anything, whether you're getting a new overhead, you're getting a vehicle, you're getting a staff member, definitely know it before doing it, because my biggest learning curve is learning from my mistakes after making the mistake. So
Yep.
It's pretty quick and easy to, everyone's probably done it in their early days, but I'll go and get a qualified tradesperson, $40 an hour or whatever you've got, different levels, but then you've got all the other superannuation, your work cover, long service leave stuff, the whole works, and adds up to more than what the initial kind of hourly agreed rate is, isn't it?
Yeah, hourly rate sort of goes out the window when you start getting a bit bigger and you've got overheads and or markups. Markups are just a load of fluff anyway, so just really knowing your numbers is key there for sure.
Yep.
We are absolutely thrilled to announce that Circus Studio are coming on board as a major sponsor and supporter of Build Insight. Circus Studio is Australia's leading interior design centre. If you're an architect, building designer, interior designer, builder, or just looking to build your dream home, you need to make a time and come in and check out the space here in Port Melbourne. This space holds every element that you'll possibly need to design your dream home.
Can we dive into a bit of that side of what you're doing, Luke? Like, what have you done as far as business coaching or continuing to do? Any advice for anyone looking for a specific trade-based sort of coach?
Yeah, well, Jackson Digney from Enduro Builders, I look up to him. He's he took a chance on me. I reached out to him when I was in Melbourne, and I caught up with him at his house and told him a bit about my story in the business, and I've trialed a few business coaches, and he said Business Benchmark Group are the ones that got him started. Got him to a certain point. He was with him for many years, and then he got me onto them, and they were just specifically numbers, and that is what I want. I don't want to drive a Porsche or
not yet anyway.
Not yet. Just at the moment now, it's just numbers. I want to have control of the business and know the ins and outs, and every move that I make is a move that I know what's going to happen from there. But I think now we have scaled back a bit. We're focusing on that quality and delivering work on time, whereas before was taking on too much, was hiring and without understanding the employee's hourly rate and that effect on the business, and comparing that
the overall cost
and for the job itself. So the Business Benchmark got us set up on a quoting formula as well, which now it's sort of foolproof, and it's a lot easier to sort of judge your job.
Yeah. You're continuing with them today?
Yes, still today. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, I was actually going to ask, Luke, that kind of leads into my train of thought there. Obviously, we're all used to different building softwares and stuff. Is there certain systems that you've found to work well for you? Like, is there formulas on sheets that you're using with your data tracking, cost tracking, or
It's
software?
a lot of Excel spreadsheets at the moment. The best software that I'm finding as far as like scheduling and like documenting projects is Tradeify. I'm finding that's like
So that's like an app, isn't it? Tradeify.
it's just like a scheduling software. We primarily use it just for like scheduling the guys, but documenting projects. So like throughout our clients' project, we're documenting everything, taking photos, whether it's repair work, from chipping down to installing mesh or any type of crack repair to finishing it. We're documenting it just to cover ourselves, client.
That's great.
I think it's really good to have something like that. We've got a few other trades that use that as well, and it's good to have a reference on. I'll use a plumber as an example. Their guys, obviously, they've got a project set up inside Tradeify, and their guys are documenting what they've done for the day or take photos of where something may be in a wall. And then, you might get to a point where, oh, shit, the walls are all plastered and tiled, and, someone wants to fix something to the wall. Where does this service go? And those guys being able to get up the Tradeify app and go back through and find out, where that piece of information is. It's definitely a really crucial thing to have a system like that.
Yeah, definitely. It's one of the difficult things is probably trying to get those old heads around a young software in our group.
It's not just you, mate.
I tell you what, they do pick it up, and it's good. It's handy.
Photos are so powerful. Like the amount of times that our team have come in after and everything's plastered, you're thinking, something was here, and could be, involving a few trades. And so we use Wonderbuild and big chat function on there. And one thing that I know is on my agenda next week is we've had a couple of guys on holidays and some injuries and people coming and going a little bit the last couple of months. So where I need to sit down and just reset that expectation of, continual, this is what we want each day. Luke, what are you doing on site? Like, you having general meetings with your trades at the start of every job, toolbox meetings? How do you like to function with your team there?
So Monday's usually out on site, setting the guys up for the week ahead. So at the moment, I'm in a transition of trying to balance office time and time on the tools as we're scaling back that little bit and fine-tuning the quality. So I'm finding if I'm out there on Monday setting up the week ahead and then getting into the office and sort of working on the numbers Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday on the tools, going hard with the fellas, and then Friday sort of making that fine-tuning, making sure we're finishing those jobs on time. So that's helping with delivery. So I'm still in that transition phase, but I feel like that moving forward, that's the best way to go. And I think my presence on site of late has been good with the guys. They're seeing that drive. One of my workers the other day just said, he goes, I haven't seen you this happy for a long time. And I said, this is the easy part, mate. Just being out there on the tools gave me a bit of life again. And it's good. And you get to see it firsthand and pick things up as you go on, rather than, we were talking about Tradeify, Tradeify, the photos might not pick up these little 1%ers that the builders can see. And personally, I could see.
All right, guys, that brings us to the end of part 1 of episode 44. If you want to find out more about Build Insight, head over to our website, buildinsite.com.au. Over on the website, you'll find links to previous podcast episodes, as well as links to our YouTube channel, Instagram, and Facebook. Hope you enjoyed the episode. We'll catch you on the next one.
We just need to say a massive thank you to our sponsors and supporters. Without them, Build Insight wouldn't be possible. So to Bowens, Circus Studio, Wonderbuild, Goop Guys, Callery Building, and Backman Builders, thank you very much. We look forward to seeing you again next week.
Let's cue the disclaimer. I need to let you know that myself and the Build Insight team are in no way, shape or form qualified to give you personal or specific business advice. We strongly encourage you seek out the use of professionals for products or when you are making personal or business decisions. Everything discussed during the Build Insight podcast is our own and the guest opinion and personal experience and is of a general nature only. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Catch you on the next one.